Part 18. The day after that traffic sign job, I couldn't get up. My whole body was freezing. Even with the heater turned all the way up, I was shivering under every piece of clothing I owned, buried beneath the blanket on the floor. Big Shwe was bare-chested, dripping sweat, and there I was beside him wrapped like a mummy, trembling like a leaf. Somehow, in the middle of that miserable morning, I got a voicemail from a relative in China. That really puzzled me. How the hell did they find me? I'd already changed my prepaid Lycomobile number 3 times. I decided to ignore it. Pretend it never happened. Half asleep and half frozen, one thought kept looping in my head, I can't keep working outdoors. I'll die out here, So I told myself I'd go back to Los Angeles. At least it's warmer there. Looking back now, that decision was selfish. I couldn't take the cold, but Big Shwe could. He was doing fine. Going back to LA meant giving up steady work and starting over from zero. But he didn't argue, he just nodded. He went to settle up with the boss, the so-called richest man in Colorado. I'd never believed that story anyway. The guy walked with a limp, had no staff, no assistants, and handled everything himself. What kind of billionaire runs payroll out of his pickup truck? What he was, though, was cheap to the bone. When Shwe asked for our pay, the old man said the work we did at the junkyard didn't count because we hadn't clocked in or out. Never mind that half his workers saw us there every day, or that Shwe had photos proving everything. He also said the free room and board we'd been promised didn't count either. The safety boots, the winter coats, the groceries we'd bought. All on us. The receipts Shwe had carefully saved worthless. The rent alone on that country house is $3,000 a month, the old man said. I didn't charge you for that, did I? So really, you owe me money. He said it with a straight face. In the end, he tossed us each $800 out of humanitarian concern, claiming we'd only worked 3 official days, one for fixing the fence, one for digging trenches, and one for holding signs. That was it. No wonder his kids had all cut ties with him. He lived out there with a Chinese masseuse who was more housemate than partner, and her son, the same young guy who used to boss around the Chinese workers on site, was his errand boy. Shwe and I didn't have the papers or power to fight back. He had an expired work card, I had nothing. Taking him to court wasn't an option, and even if it were, it wouldn't be worth it. The old guy's reputation for cheating workers had just come true for us. So, with our pockets stuffed with $800 each, we boarded a Greyhound back to Los Angeles, heads down, pride in tatters. It was the son-in-law, the one with the tank-sized pickup, who drove us to the bus station. He didn't say a word the whole way, and we didn't care to either. After 20-something hours on the road, we finally made it back to Chen Ji's family hostel, the only place that felt familiar. Those Dingpangzi boarding houses were always the same, cheap, crowded, and filthy, but never empty. They survived on familiarity and word-of-mouth trust. Everyone who stayed there was broke, just trying to make it to the next month. It was $12 a night, or $300 for the month, breakfast, rice, oil, and Wi-Fi included. Chen Ji even ran a shuttle service for a small fee. It wasn't comfortable, but it was safe, and when you're broke, safe is luxury enough. Back in LA, the weather felt almost tropical, mid-20s Celsius during the day, a cool 12 or so at night. After Christmas, my body finally recovered. A few days later, I figured I wouldn't be needing my heavy gear anymore. I gave my yellow work jacket and steel toe boots to old Liu. It made him so happy. For him, free things were always good things, and by luck, we wore the same size. Shui kept his own set. As for me, I was done pretending those Walmart work clothes were something special. Back in China, I'd spent hundreds on the same stuff, calling it industrial fashion. What a joke! Now, once again, we were broke, healthy, and unemployed, two nobodies in the city of angels, looking for the next thing to survive on.